right now. Back to that story we told you about earlier, just before 1 o'clock. The 43-year-old woman from Madiba Park in Kimberley says that instead of protecting her, Gende police have failed her. She alleges that her husband, who is a police officer, has been physically and emotionally abusing her since 2019, but has never been arrested. The woman whose identity is concealed, but who is known to the police, has roped in activists to help her in her quest for justice. And for more, we now bring in Shane Gbvf from the Advice and Development Centre. Shane, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for hosting us.
How did this case come out? How did you come to know about it?
In Kimberley, there's been an increase of killings of women and children in the past few months. And about a month ago, a young woman was killed by her boyfriend and kept for 7 days, wrapped in blankets. And on the 7th day, he gave the body to the family, to the neighbors. So we realized that this is a serious concern in Madiba Park. There was a lady that was murdered and nobody's been arrested as well 3 months later. So we decided to go to Madiba Park to do an awareness campaign door to door and talk to people about gender-based violence and in particular femicide. So we visited this one shack and we found this lady crying, and she spoke to us and said that the previous day the husband beat the 13-year-old daughter, and when she tried to intervene, the husband beat her and wanted to stab both of them with a knife. She called the police, and the police spoke to the husband, and they left. They didn't arrest their colleague. They didn't provide psychosocial support. And then we started to engage with her, try to get her to a women's shelter, but she fears for her life. And it was almost the time when the husband was to get back to home from work. So we realized that this lady is in serious problems. And she explained to us that she's married for 14 years. And for 14 years, she suffers the abuse under this husband who's a policeman. And every time when he is supposed to go to the wellness unit of the police, he doesn't come to the table, he doesn't do his part. She spoke to several social workers in the police as well, but nothing happens to the case, and the lady is living in fear. She's unemployed, and unfortunately, she depends on his salary for bread on the table.
So 14 years, you say that's when the abuse started 14 years ago, and you say the husband is a police officer. Has anything ever happened to him in terms of getting arrested probably and being charged and so on?
She mentioned to us and to the activist that was with her when we provided some on-site counseling to her, and she even cried. The neighbors came to support her while she spoke to us. And she mentioned that several times she spoke to the husband's senior, to his immediate supervisor at work, but nothing happens to the case.
So, Shane, did you speak to the police? Did you hear anything from the police? What are they saying?
I have an appointment with a district person responsible for the police on Monday. I missed that appointment yesterday because yesterday I had other activities. So on Monday, I'm meeting with the district cluster commander of the police, and I'm also writing an email to the MEC responsible for safety in the province. I did speak to the MEC, and he requested me to put it in writing so that he can follow it up. The husband is working at the court as a police official, which means he has first-hand experience of what victims goes through. He sees victims in courts, and he's supposed to stop this abuse.
Shane, where is the husband as we are speaking now? Have you spoken to him and heard what he is saying?
I haven't spoken to the husband because I didn't want to jeopardize the safety of the women for the sake of the weekend. So that probably on Monday, Tuesday, we want to take her to a shelter. We just wanted to give her space to sort out her things. But I'm very, very much concerned about the increase of abuse in that relationship. Even the neighbors spoke about the concerns they have about this woman. But she doesn't have anywhere else to go. She's unemployed. She depends for bread and butter on the husband. And some of our women are stuck in that abusive relationships. And I fear she might be killed.
Where else have you gone to seek help for this woman? Do you know if she's safe at the moment?
At this moment, we've passed the shack this morning, and then we saw that she is safe from a distance because we didn't want the husband to get things in the ears that we are busy with that. But at this stage, she's safe for now. but we hope the weekend passes quickly so that we can address the matter and also provide some psychosocial support. We spoke to our partner organizations who will provide some counseling as well. I mean, the 13-year-old daughter going to school the next morning while she was beaten up and threatened with a knife by the father the previous night. Very traumatic for the child to go to school in the morning. So we need to look at all aspects as to what basket full of services we need to render to this family.
How are the children coping? Do you have any idea?
The one daughter is a total wreck. If you look at her, you see the pain in her eyes. She just wants to cry. I'm not sure how she's doing in school, but definitely Monday, Tuesday, we will visit the school to see what her progress is in terms of her being a scholar.
So apparently when the SABC went to interview this woman, she still had bruises on her face. Do you know how she's doing in terms of injuries and so on?
She still had the visible bruises, and that is what is really painful to know, that the police came to the shack. She called the police. The men and women in blue came. They didn't arrest their colleague. They didn't refer the lady to get some medical attention. So that in itself is worrisome. That in itself shows that there's a high level of corruptness amongst police. And you know, within Kimberley, in the past few months, we had about 3 to 5 policemen killing their women or their girlfriends right here in Kimberley. So this might add to another statistic. But the men and women in blue totally disregards this issue of safety of their partners.
How's the community doing there? Is the community aware of what is happening?
The community is very much aware of what is happening, and I feel the community is partially to be blamed for the increase of violence in that Madiba Park area, because everybody knows what is happening. When we did some awareness that day, particular day, we found a couple with knives wanting to stab each other. We visited another shack where there was 3 young men that claim to be Xhosa men, and they believe to beat their wives so that the wives can submit to them. So there needs a whole lot of educational drive in terms of gender-based violence and basic human rights.
So, yes, Shane, what do you want to see happening from Monday morning in this Madiba Park community?
I want to see a lot of changes happening. I want to see a lot of men getting arrested for the abuse and the level of abuse in that Madiba Park. I want to see the police being visible in that area. I want to see the municipality cut the bushes and the trees. I spoke to quite a few children that crosses the school from the main road and that has to walk through that bushes and thick trees. And these children complain about men molesting them, wanting sexual advances from them in that same area. So the municipality must give extra lightening or proper lightening in that dark area. They must cut the bushes and the trees so that the abuse can stop happening in the bushes and in that dark informal settlement.
Do we need intervention from the municipality, as you say, the provincial government perhaps?
The municipality needs to come to the table in terms of cleaning that area and cutting that bushes and trees. The provincial government needs to come to the table in terms of providing some dialogues in the community, some psychosocial support. Department of Social Services needs to get on board in terms of providing some social work and social care and address the social ills in that area.
How active are NGOs in this area?
In Madiba Park, there's not really some activities happening there. That's why we went to Madiba Park after the spate of killings. We went to address this issue. We are about 5 to 6 NGOs that collaborated on that day, and we are planning to do that this week again. So we as the external hand of government, we need support from government to support us with the resources so that we can address this matter properly.
Shane, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. That was Shane Grikwa, and he is from the Advice and Development Centre.